be interesting to note as well.
It's interesting that you picked out Vivianne Miedema, who I believe is going to come onto the pitch now. So there were 2 players missing from that huddle. Both now back out there. One of them, Kim Little, actually. And the other, Vivianne Miedema, perhaps staying behind slightly longer to receive a final instruction, although judging by the look on Miedema's face, maybe they just mistimed it. Anyway, Ajax get us back underway and go immediately direct towards Grant. It'll be interesting to see what Ajax's outlook is on this second half. Are they content with securing a draw away from home and then looking to win the tie back at home in Amsterdam in 8 days' time?
I think the game plan that was put in place was just implemented superbly. When you're the travelling side in a Champions League tie, it's all about putting on a comprehensive and stubborn display, and they've done that. But not only that, when they have gone forward, whether it has been the intricate passing play around the 18-yard box or the direct ball forward, it's just seemed to shred the Arsenal defence, which we're so not used to seeing, especially after the opening day victory in the FA Women's Super League. That win against Brighton, that clean sheet, a really solid foundation to build upon. So I think for Arsenal there are just far more gears to go, but I am keen to credit Ajax for the way they've gone about their business. I think they've looked really, really hungry, well drilled, and a team that is being given clear instructions by their manager and gone about delivering it.
Well, here's Steph Catley, released by Leah Williamson. Oh, off the frame of the goal from the Australian. Well, she had time, didn't she, to pick her spot. Instead of going across the goalkeeper, she went for the near post. Very nearly got the better of her.
Brilliant to see an opening down that left-hand side of the pitch as well. Had time to pick out where she wanted to put the ball and a decent bit of goalkeeping. But again, brilliant early signs from Arsenal to see them looking threatening in this part of the pitch, which in the first half was lacking somewhat.
Raffaelli back to Manu Zinsberger. Williamson, who was the architect of that last opportunity, this time picking out Hurtig, helping it on for Steph Catley. Opportunity to cross for Arsenal. Well claimed by Eliza Kopp.
Already much more direct, much more purposeful, and a real range to the attacking threat as well, which is good to see.
There's an overlapping run here from Ashley Weirden. She's very fast. The winger, headed clear by Raffaelli. Just as the first half finished, the second half has started very much end-to-end again.
I think the tempo of the press has just been really impressive from Ajax. They haven't looked tired at all, and you keep thinking maybe, or how long can they sustain that for? Does it get to about the hour mark and you see some tired legs as the space is really beginning to open up for Arsenal now?
Well, Miedema is on the left-hand side of the pitch. There were numbers over on the right. You can't really blame them for looking for their leading goal scorer. Here's Miedema ducking infield onto her right foot. You can see what she was trying to do, looking towards the far top corner. Couldn't quite generate the spin on the ball.
Sometimes that ball just magically stays at her feet. The way she can physically shrug off the opponent and still technically get that shot away. It's why she's the player that she is, and held in such high esteem by Arsenal, their supporters, and all of those in the domestic game and abroad as well. And I can't help but feel that she is the key to unlocking success for Arsenal in this second half.
Nice to hear a new song at Meadow Park as well. People will tear you apart again. Well, here's Blackstenius trying her luck from range. Wasn't a bad effort either. Eliza Kopp had to watch it all the way.
It's just about making this Ajax defence think, to do something to perhaps panic or unsettle. I think in the first half Ajax had it too much their own way. So I'm sure the manager at half-time has said, switch it up, play with confidence, play with a bit of a swagger, and make this team wonder what your next move is. Well,
Hurtig gets in on the blind side there of Van der Most. She required an excellent recovery challenge from Cardinal. Put the ball out of play. They were under serious pressure there. And the Mosh just got her angles wrong. Hurtig for a second was through on goal.
Yeah, really, really nice move there. The defender a bit flat-footed, body twisted, and Arsenal were there to pounce.
Mead again delivers towards Raffaelli at the far post. She jumps so well, the Brazilian. Every single time a ball is delivered into the box, you're backing her to win the header. It does just seem as though Jonas Eidevall at the break has said, look, next 15 minutes, let's put them under as much pressure as we can and see if they can handle it. It has been all Arsenal this second half.
They're a young side, and I think Arsenal just needed to put them under pressure more effectively in the opening half. When you're the home team, it is down to you to set that tempo and to direct that flow of the game. And after literally maybe like a couple of minutes in the opening spell, Ajax were able to creep their way back into the game, thread possession together and open the deadlock, which gave them a real sense of confidence and something to cling on to.
Well, here's Maritz on the overlap. Dangerous delivery into the box. No Arsenal player had gambled. Might be a break on here for Ajax. Helps across to the left-hand side of the pitch. Well won back by Maritz. So it was Beth Mead charging all the way back there. Surprised us that she was so diligent in her defending. That's not really out of character for her. That's why her teammates love her so much. And there's an excellent switch of play to find her once more. Now Maritz into Velti. Little comes short for the option on the edge of the area. Good to see Arsenal trying to be creative in different ways.
Yeah, that's a really good point. When I see Beth Mead in those situations, 1v1 with a defender, I just want her to go for it, charge into that box, be positive, because you never know if you're putting that defender under pressure. You could win a penalty, you could win a free kick. She elected to pass it back on that occasion. It hasn't quite come off, but perhaps we'll see her switch up that style as this half goes on.
Blackstenius looking to cut one back. Hurtig and Miedemar were options in the area. Again, well read by Issa Cardinal.
I definitely think the home crowd, you can hear them, really seeing that the girls have come out in this second half with a bit more focus and a bit more of a dogged determination to imprint themselves upon this Champions League tie, and that will spur the team on. And we spoke in the first half, didn't we, about that midfield battle, and that was something that I think Ajax wanted, whereas now, the way that Arsenal are playing, the rapid flow of their attacking style, it's almost surpassing the midfield.
It was Leah Williamson's excellent long ball, which picked out Hurtig, who found Catley, returned the pass, and now we have another corner for Arsenal to be taken from this left-hand side. Beth Mead's come all the way across the pitch. Two arms up from the Golden Boot winner at the Summers Euros. And in it comes once more. Again towards the far post. Raffaelli this time beaten in the air. But she will keep it in on the far side. And again more good footwork from the Brazilian, who can keep going. Raffaelli off the post again. Catley trying to pick her spot with the follow-up. Well, it's twice in this second half now that Arsenal have rattled the frame of the goal. So close to taking the lead in this tie. Still on the front foot though. And it's Blackstenius through on goal. Another good stop from Lisa Kopp. Well, Blackstenius has gone down. Frida Nilsson says no penalty. Boos chime around Meadow Park. They felt that they were hard done by there, the Arsenal fans.
This is more like it. Arsenal are knocking. That bit of skill from Rafael deserved a goal in itself, but if Arsenal can keep this up, if they can sustain this pressure, it might well be an individual mistake. It might be a lack of communication between the centre-backs and the goalkeeper. I feel that if Arsenal get a goal in the next few minutes, we might see, not the floodgates open, that's probably too dramatic, but we might then see them notch a couple. I feel like the halftime team talk has worked its magic.
It's another great ball from Raffaelli. Beth Mead went down inside the area, and after taking a look at it, and it was a long look from the referee, Frida Nilsson, she eventually points to the spot. The more immediate concern from Arsenal will be on Beth Mead's health. She clutches the back of her head. It was an almighty hit that she took. Arsenal will have the opportunity to take the lead in this tie from the penalty spot. Kim Little will be designated taker. We do hope that this isn't a serious concern for Beth Mead.
Well, I did let out a little gasp, Max. I was surprised more Arsenal players didn't appeal more vehemently, because it did look like a real kind of coming together, and it has been a physical game. Under the radar, there's been plenty of little individual battles, plenty of nibbles here and there, but it did look like a poor loss of control, and the referee has taken her time, and it's a big decision to make at a pivotal stage of this game, and that momentum could just swing the way of Arsenal now.
Well, Beth Mead back on her feet, which is good news. Well, you wonder whether that will be her final involvement. Caitlin Ford ready and set to come on. But before then, a penalty to Arsenal. Kim Little, 2 penalties from 2 last season. She is so reliable in these situations. One of the club's greatest ever players. 13 trophies to her name. She thrives under pressure. Can she deliver for the Gunners once more? Sends Lisa Kopp the wrong way. Arsenal take the lead. They've deserved it for the way that they've started this second half. Kim Little, with the captain's armband on, leading by example. A penalty won by Beth Mead, but dispatched confidently by Kim Little.
Spot on, both the penalty and the way that Arsenal have gone about their business in the second half. We did say whether it would be a set-piece opportunity or perhaps a mistake from Ajax to make Arsenal retake the lead, and it's turned out to be a penalty, but Arsenal have deserved that decision. They've deserved that little bit of fortune. They've deserved that penalty opportunity, and in those situations, who else do you want to be taking it other than your skipper, Kim Little, stepping up at a big point? And that momentum has swung Arsenal's way now. They're making a change, some fresh legs coming onto the pitch, and if they can sustain this attacking pressure, I think that they could really get a grip of this Champions League tie.
Well, 60 minutes tonight for Lena Hurtig to follow the 30 minutes that she had against Brighton, being gradually eased into Jonas Ardevel's system. It has been replaced like for like on the left-hand side by a very reliable output in front of goal in the form of Caitlin Ford. 6 goals, 4 assists last season for her. Already 1 assist to her name this campaign.
There's a totally different undercurrent now in the way in which Arsenal are playing, and what's really pleasing to see from an Arsenal point of view is it's beginning to frustrate the visitors, and when that happens, again, your opposition are feeling a little bit rattled. That's when more individual errors come, that's when more spaces open up across the pitch, and for Arsenal it's time to show that ruthless edge and take this Champions League tie and put it beyond, so that that second leg doesn't have too much pressure on it.
The 2 Australians on this left-hand side looking to link up. Didn't quite come off on that occasion. Arsenal still very much on the front foot. Here's Miedema looking for Mead, unable to play her through. It's worth mentioning that Ajax don't have a game this weekend, so they'll be playing 2 fixtures back-to-back, as Grant has no option but to go for goal. They will have an additional 4 rest days, Ajax, between the 2 legs. So you can imagine that Jonas Ardevel and his coaching staff are probably looking at that, especially with the North London derby and the physicality, the emotions of it, and thinking, well, look, we need to really put our flag in the sand here.
It's about game management this evening as well as time management overall, and with the season only just starting, perhaps there's an argument to be had that the competitive flow of football will serve Arsenal really well. I know for the Women's Championship, the tier underneath this, the season got underway and then the international break came and managers and squads were finding it hard to get into that rhythm. I think there's a real opportunity for Arsenal to use this not only to establish themselves in the tie, but as a launch pad for what is going to be a historic occasion at the weekend with the North London derby. And then that key word, momentum, comes into place, and you really can't put a price on momentum in football. And this second half, the momentum is going all the way of Arsenal's individual players have really stepped up, looking shades different to what they did in the first half, which is really encouraging to see.
You wonder when Ajax will start to tire as well, and Arsenal can continue to bring on fresh legs who have the same amount of quality as their starters. Offside for Miedema. Stenius as well making the forward run.
And those runs are serving really well, just to stretch the Ajax defence, to just bring out players out of position, and the pressure now that's coming from the midfield as well as that front three defending from the front is really good. And Ajax just aren't able to bomb forward with such strong numbers as they were in the first half. And I think Rafael, I mean, she's a real stand-up performer to me as this game is going on. Not only such a threat down the other end, but doing her defensive duties so solidly as well.
Real Rolls Royce of a defender, Rafael. Play the game very much at her own pace. And here's Beth Mead looking to inject some into Arsenal's attack.
Oh, I just wish she'd looked up to her right then. Such a good run going on, but that's brilliant because that was not happening in the first half, was it? You were looking at Arsenal players looking a little bit static, searching for options as the clock ticked, whereas now there's options aplenty all around them.
Well, here was the first change for Ajax. It's a player who not seen too much of in this second half, making way. Ashley Weirden coming off to be replaced by Tiny Hoekstra. Again, like for like, a left winger who will look to try to cause Noah Maritz a few issues on the opposite flank. Raffaelli to the feet of Liavelti. You notice there's significantly less pressing from Ajax as this second half has gone on. Here's Williamson, able to pick a strike. It wasn't too far away from Arsenal's number 6. Teed up by Miedema. Can't blame her. Did open up for her the opportunity.
Arsenal are now just so forcefully camped in that half of the pitch. All the outfield Ajax players are just chasing shadows a little bit, which is fantastic. Like I say, they can't really implement that high press because Arsenal are moving the ball around so much quicker and so much more purposefully than they did in the first half. There was an air of predictability in the way that they were moving the ball about, but now they're switching it up. Both that left-hand side and right-hand side are operating really effectively. A loose pass there, but the recovery, it's all about the recovery as Kim Little puts her under pressure, and then the recycling of play. It just needs to neaten up a little bit, I think, if Arsenal are to drag the tie away from their opposition's control.
Well, we've hardly said Nordam's name in this second half, and she's given away possession. She was such a trusted figure in the midfield during the first half. Look at Caitlin Ford battling away to break past 2 challenges before eventually, via an advantage, winning a free kick in a very dangerous position. Steph Catley left the first one for Beth Mead. I wonder now whether she's saying, well, this one's got my name written all over it.
A good piece of refereeing as well, actually, because the referee has let the game flow. It's been a physical game, but also letting that advantage play sometimes is really, to the players' benefit, but also being able to blow up, pull it back, and now for Arsenal, a fantastic position, perhaps for a worldie goal to entertain us this evening.
Well, I mentioned Steph Catley's free kick in last season's group stage, right into the top corner. Can she repeat that feat against Ajax. 25 minutes to play at Meadow Park. Arsenal are in the lead. What another goal would do for their confidence and momentum going into next week's second leg. Again, Mead and Catley stood over it. Kim Little doing her best to block Lisa Kopp's sight lines before eventually walking away. It is Beth Mead. Plenty of power. Not quite the accuracy she was looking for.
Even perhaps on some of her more underwhelming nights, and I say that very harshly, Beth Mead is just such a sublime player, and it just takes a moment for her to have an impact and an imprint on the game. And whenever Arsenal do win free kicks in those situations, you know the number 9 is not going to be too far away.
Well, she's another player who epitomises Arsenal and their tenacious nature under Jonas Eideveld. Have instilled a never say die attitude in this side. Did come back from losing positions late on against both Manchester clubs and Tottenham last season. They know how to do it in the big games. But here they're in the driving seat, having gone 1 goal behind early on.
I was just a little bit worried there. I think it might have been Kim Little in the challenge. Didn't know whether her right foot got a bit stuck underneath her. I don't know if that's where the pause in play has come from now, but hopefully nothing too concerning.
Well, you're right. It is Kim Little receiving treatment going into a North London derby and then a crucial second leg tie in a very short period of time. This is not the sight that you'll want to see.
I wish the refs were mic'd up sometimes. I would love to know what Leah Williamson was saying there, but it is an important point. Players like Kim Little are just so integral to what Arsenal want to do, not only in this competition, but in the FA Women's Super League, where I think we've already seen it's going to be one of the most competitive, toughest and unpredictable campaigns we've seen. So for Arsenal, I think there's just such an opportunity to have a really, really impactful season and make this place a fortress.
We spoke about the unpredictability of the Women's Super League. Of course, Arsenal flying high at the top of the league. Same goal difference as Manchester United, who also hit 4 goals in their opening match against Reading. Arsenal, one of 3 teams who scored 4 times in the opener. Villa were the other ones, beating Man City in a 7-goal thriller. The unpredictable nature of the Women's Super League comes when you're seeing a side like Chelsea, who've won 4 out of the last 5 Women's Super League titles, losing 2-1 to league newcomers Liverpool.
I think what you're seeing with the Super League as well is those comprehensive victories, with the division almost being kind of cut in two, but where it is competitive, the finest of fine margins now is creeping in due to the professionalism and the routine and the setups, which at clubs like Arsenal we sometimes take for granted, but other teams now are catching up with the progress, and it's that constant pursuit of excellence and the standards, and that's why you can't really afford to have a first half like Arsenal had today. The second half performance has been a good means of atoning it, but of course the advantage is still just a slender goal.
Little is back on the pitch and is making challenges in the centre of the park once more, so that's a good sign for the Gunners. Oh, and is that going to be another yellow card, this time for Lisa Dawn, bringing down Blackstenius as she looked to tear away. Yeah, we mentioned it before, such a willing runner, the Swede. Very powerful once she gets going, loves to play on the last defender and try to exploit the gaps in behind like that. Dawn didn't have an answer for it.
And there's a few players in that Ajax defence now on yellow cards, so it's something for Arsenal again to show that ruthless edge to their play and target these players so that they're ruled out of the second leg. It comes as hard work pays off in the way that Arsenal are now stretching the game and pulling those defenders out of position and enforcing those fouls.
Yeah, 3 out of the back 4 now on bookings. The only one that isn't is 17-year-old Issa Cardinal. By the way, I've been very impressed with. I know that you highlighted Victoria Pelova as a player who most clubs will be looking towards signing next summer, maybe even in January, given how well she started this campaign. Well, Miedema looking to control that bouncing ball in the area. Here's Caitlin Ford. Charge down on the edge of the area. Arsenal fans growing in voice as they see their side attack once more going into the final 20 minutes. There are certainly more goals in this game. Williamson. Into Mead. Takes another heavy challenge. Back on her feet though. Every time she gets knocked down, Beth Mead, she's so quick to get back on her feet and run straight at the opposition again. Sort of nature she honed during her upbringing in the northeast. She's spoken before about how she used to play with the boys who just used to try to kick her out of the game. She'd always come back for more and she'd always get the better of them. Here's Verhoeven trying to carry possession out, trying to drag her team back up the pitch again. They've not seen too much of Arsenal's half in this second period. Now they can slow it down. You'll see at the top of your screen there, Katie McCabe ready to come on. Question is whether she comes on as a forward or as a defender. Very versatile. The Republic of Ireland captain. Good work by Kim Little.
Just wanting Arsenal to sort of regain that composure that they had in the opening of the second half. Every pass was a forward-thinking one. They started the game very much on the front foot and just been a quieter couple of minutes. Those sort of sloppy, loose passes that were quite frequent in the first, just creeping in a little bit for Arsenal. I think it's time, again, those more experienced players just identify that and look to increase the tempo. You don't want it to kind of lag or slow down because that will be to the advantage of the visiting team.
Raffaelli always looking to line up that long switcher play. Goes short this time though. Miedema is able to collect on the edge of the area. Now Mead. Again, Ajax, plenty of black shirts there on the edge of their own penalty area. But this is where Arsenal want them. Look at that for a pass from Leah Velti. Well, it might break for Blackstenius. Liza Kopp had to be careful. She knew that the Swede was sniffing around.
Just needed the touch to be slightly better, but almost fortuitously it pays off for Arsenal. It's about taking that gamble on occasions.
Nordum helps it on for Van der Most. Now Pelova. Infield, Pelova looking to strike the return pass. Well defended by Arsenal. And there is a counter-attack on here if they fancy it. Caitlin Ford can burst forward from the left-hand side, wins another free kick. They're really struggling to deal with the acceleration from the Australian ever since she's come onto the pitch.
I don't think those counter-attacking opportunities are a bad thing for Arsenal, hitting on the break with the pace, with Ajax committing a few more bodies forward. They've camped so deep behind the ball. It's proven to be a stubborn, hard defence to break down. So actually that counter-attack could be something that is more productive for Arsenal, as well as these dead ball scenarios as well that have looked promising throughout the 75 minutes so far.
Speaking of counter-attacking options. Katie McCabe is now onto the pitch. I think it was Stina Blackstenius who's gone off, which means, well, Steph Catley's in. I have to say it means that Caitlin Ford can move into the vacated number 9 spot. It's Blackstenius who's left the action. Of course, she did score the equaliser. Will be an opportunity though during this break in play for Steph Catley to receive some treatment. Mixing up that forward line, they can keep opposing defenders guessing. I mean, if you're able to find a system that can crowbar in Stenius, Ford, Mead, Miedemar, Katie McCabe, Lena Hurtig now. So many attacking options for Arsenal.
It's so exciting. I mean, we said it at the very, very start, didn't we, when we were looking at the team for this evening. The strength and depth that's on that Arsenal bench is frightening. And the way that teams set up now, and particularly in this competition, if Arsenal are to progress and go better than they have done in recent years, they went through such a great spell, didn't they, of qualifying and making it to the quarter-final stages. And between, I think it was 2010 and 2013, they were getting to the semi-finals. And that's what Arsenal want to be doing season in and season out. And that ability to rotate your squad, that ability to switch your personnel up, or when a game is on a bit of a knife edge like it is at half-time, be able to make changes that have a positive impact. And I really think now for Arsenal in this last sort of 15 minutes or so, it is about showing their intent for this competition as a whole and identifying the gaps or the weaknesses perhaps that Ajax have. And one thing for me is that back four, 3 of them are on yellow cards, so really try and run the channels, really try and get in those individual battles and ultimately make the right decisions in and around the 16-yard box.
Sinsberger, Raffaelli, just the one Ajax player in the Arsenal half. Although that's sure to change now if they can manufacture this into a counter-attack. Pelova trying to turn away from 3 Arsenal players, losing out possession, and now Kim Little will try to do her usual thing of running a few rings around them. She has got the extra level of physicality to back her up in those situations where it doesn't quite work. McCabe knocks one into the channel. Again, Cardinal's there to sweep up before Kopp hacks it out of play.
It's not pretty, but that is working effectively for Arsenal. Just kind of taking that gamble, putting the defence, putting the goalkeeper under pressure. It's about making that pressure something relentless, and then there will open up an opportunity, and it's about which Arsenal player is going to have that clinical shot or that moment of composure in front of goal.
The Ajax players have certainly spent larger portions of this second half running back towards their own goal than they were in the first. Speaks volumes of how much Arsenal have been on the front foot. Just under 15 minutes left to play. Let's look at Katie McCabe, who's peeled off to the right-hand side. Covering in field now. Eventually works her way out to the left, but again, one back by Cardinal from Miedemar. Grant. Don't know if you can make that out on your streams back at home. Here, Steph Catley and Katie McCabe on this near left-hand side are so vocal, talking each other through the game.
And that's important as well, because Ajax have somewhat simmered the tempo. It's pressed a little bit, much to their advantage, and it is, you know, you can't help but feel that Arsenal can again turn up the gears, take it up a notch, and it's their home tie, so it is important that they make it as uncomfortable a 10 final minutes as possible, because if Ajax go back to Amsterdam with this 1-goal disadvantage, they might think they're left with a chance.
Well, it's a great ball forward. Oh, that's a heavy collision. Caitlin Ford bearing the brunt of it. It was a raking through ball from this left-hand side. She had every right to go for it. Liza Kopp didn't get anywhere near the ball. I think the offside flag had gone up.
She's been so committed, though, hasn't she, to that attacking move, and that kind of commitment sees you upended in those situations. Hopefully it's not too serious, and a little bit of treatment and she'll be able to come up, because again, I think if you're looking at individuals that will help Arsenal get that third, she is that spark, she is that individual. Miedemar's had a relatively quiet evening by her standards. I think Ajax have done a really good job in keeping her quiet. That physical, really, really tight player mark has proven to be frustrating for her.
There she is, as mentioned in the build-up to today's game, a two-time Golden Boot winner in this competition with two different sides. Bayern Munich first of all, 2016-17, and then Arsenal more recently. Hasn't quite worked out for her in front of goal this evening, but such is Arsenal's depth of attacking talent. Goals have come from elsewhere on the pitch. This is the one that's given them the lead. Kim Little from the spot, keeping her cool, giving her side the advantage. But will one goal be enough? Just under 10 minutes to play. The other side of out. Certainly wouldn't help for his side to, certainly wouldn't hurt, I should say, for his side to grab another. It'll make that return trip next week a lot more comfortable.
I think as well, from an Arsenal point of view, getting a goal in open play, you know, the penalty spot and then the seconds from the corner has been the means of breaking down this Ajax side. There hasn't been too much in the way of open play, and I do think in part that has just been from decision making from Arsenal's point of view, as well as some really good competent defending from the visitors. There's again the offside flag there, that's down to good shape, that's down to good organisation from a really young team as well, so it's credit to them. I've been impressed with the performance from them tonight.
Yeah, 22 out of 27 players in Ajax's senior squad are 25 years old or younger. Obviously, Sherida Spitzer's the exception to that rule. She's been put in there as an example to others. And here she is on the ball now. To the left-hand side. Chance for Hoekstra to finally showcase what she's made of. In towards the near post, not cleared by Arsenal. And then it's helped home. And it's Leutzer again, the Ajax number 7. Doubles her side score, doubles her own personal tally for the evening. And it's a real poacher's goal to level the scores on the evening. And really against the run of play in the second half. Yeah,
real sucker punch for Arsenal there, a bit like the opening goal. There were so many stages to that were preventable. You've got to credit Ajax for the skill and the trickery, but to even be able to get the cross in and for it to come in at such a slow pace and not be cleared, Arsenal will be disappointed with that.
Well, we've been talking in the last half an hour, really, haven't we, Charlotte, about how Arsenal need to make the most of being on top, assert their dominance. What we forgot about was just how clinical Ajax can be in those situations. Yeah, we
kept using the word, didn't we, about finding a ruthless edge, Arsenal. It's all very well turning it up a notch and enjoying more possession, but if you're not going to convert the chances, or if you're not going to stretch your opponent and get the goals to merit it, again, certainly in open play, then you're always leaving yourself open to be punished. And Arsenal haven't had to do a lot in the way of defending, but Ajax, in and around that final third, they've known where to put the ball, and as you say, exactly that poacher's instinct, which is perhaps from an Arsenal point of view been lacking down the other end.
In comes another cross, confidently claimed by Zinsberger. She hasn't had to do too much tonight, but when she has been called upon, she has been very, very commanding and consistent.
We do always love some late drama, though. Maybe Arsenal are just saving it for us for the final minutes. Because it is probably one of those displays that as a manager you're scratching your head a little bit when the game has swayed and the momentum has shifted to your team. You're expecting them to take that by the scruff of the neck.
It's a great through ball by Leah Velti to pick out Steph Catley. Nobody in there gambling on the delivery. It's interesting that you mentioned late drama. In both of the previous 2 Champions League qualifiers that Ajax have played, they have struck in injury time. The last one being an injury time winner to knock out 4-time champions Frankfurt. Hoping not for no three-peat against Arsenal this evening. Better build-up play by the Gunners until Noel Maritz sells Kim Little rather short. And here comes the breakaway.
And to me, Max, that underpins what's gone slightly wrong for Arsenal. They've gotten into good positions, but the decision-making and the more forward-thinking cross or pass just hasn't happened, and it's then made the pace a little bit more pedestrian, which has served Ajax well, because Ajax have come here happy to work, happy to graft, and I think sometimes it has just been that decision-making that has cost Arsenal. You're looking at Beth Mead now, go 1v1, get into that box. You've already won 1 penalty this evening, go again, but then they're able to shift the pressure, shift the ball up the pitch, and it's worked into their favour. Ajax have got something to cling on to, and that would have been the objective before kick-off. Just make sure that you leave Meadow Park with something to play for, and you're going to see now, which they're entitled to do, running down the clock.
Bit of gamesmanship from the visitors. Soraya Verhoeven hobbling away. I'm sure she'll be fine to continue. Right down the other end. Bit more treatment required. Into the final stages of this first leg. Suzanne Bakker, who is just applauding to the right of your screen. Be delighted with the shift that her team have put in. It's her first experience in the Champions League this season. Oh, they've gone for a speculative effort. Reuter, after scoring twice already, albeit from a combined distance of about 4 yards. I'm not sure that one was ever going to challenge Manu Zinsberger. Perhaps that's a little hint of how much the Dutch side have given in terms of energy. Catley challenging with Van der Most.
I was going to say, I thought that was a foul on McCabe.
Well, an opportunity to deliver.
And I do think this is an opportunity again to just get the ball into the box. Don't elect for the short pass. Get bodies in, put that defence under pressure. We've seen a few spilled balls from the goalkeeper. We've seen a few huffed clearances. Perhaps now it's Arsenal's turn to pounce on a defensive mistake.
Again, Mead delivers. McCabe's through on goal. Hits the back of the net, but the flag's gone up. It won't count. Offside against Katie McCabe. Oh, that would have been tight. No VAR, of course, until the group stages.
What a beautiful turn that was. I wonder why that is, but if the VAR means are in place, why they do leave it so...
It's the stadiums.
Ah.
So should Arsenal qualify for the next stage of this competition, they will be playing it at the men's Emirates Stadium. It's a good ball into the channel. Mead helps it across again. Alyssa Cardinal has not put a single foot wrong in this match. It's a difficult ball for her to deal with as well. On her weaker left side, bouncing, manages to clear the half volley. Into the final 60 seconds. Arsenal on the attack. Can they get a winner on the night?
First time balls, first time crosses. Just looks so much more threatening for Arsenal.
And it comes again. Cardinals there once more. Now Raffaelli to the feet of Miedema. Is ever a time for some magic from her? This is it. Helps across for Maritz. Ford was there. Putting Cardinal under pressure. Cop clears. Now it's Ajax's turn to come forward. Final 30 seconds. Booted clear by Steph Catley. Not taking any risks under pressure there. Forward again from Van der Most. Flicked on, but Zinsberger's going to get there. You can sense a bit of unrest in the stands from the home fans. 6 minutes will be added on.
Arguably, you think perhaps Ajax might look after the ball, recycle possession, slow the tempo, but they're going for it as well. So it has just been such a fascinating Champions League first round tie between two teams that really it's been hard to call the differences between two. That clinical edge of Ajax against a more dominant second half display, but I think at the moment the scoreline is probably a fair reflection. Arsenal just have been wasteful by their own means.
Well, Ajax do have one way of playing, and they play that philosophy very well. Although, as you alluded to just then, Charlotte, sometimes it does mean that when the option is on to run down the clock, they still go out and attack. They will bring on a fresh pair of legs. And it's Ashley Bakker, the player who scored that dramatic injury time winner to book their place in this stage. Coming on the right wing for Chastity Grant.
I do love how many times you can check your socks and just rearrange your top when you're coming off as a substitute.
Well, Mead's delivery goes all the way through. Ashley Bakker makes her way across to this side of the pitch very slowly. Same name as the coach, no relation.
The Arsenal supporters really trying to play their part as well to rally their team. There's still plenty of time for one more twist in this tie, and you can still see, you know, the energy that front three has for Arsenal, the pace as well, as Beth Mead tracking back, and it's now again that decision making, that composure on the ball. I think Raphael has been superb for Arsenal. I'd love to see her on the score sheet. I think her display has merited it, but even if she could just come up with an assist right now, that would do.
It's a great switch of play from her, something we're growing accustomed to seeing since she made the move to North London. And now every single outfield player in an Arsenal shirt is camped out inside this Ajax half. It's going to be attack against defence, you imagine, as Kim Little makes her way into the box. Another excellent challenge in there. Last-ditch defending from Lisa Dawn. Thought Kim Little was going to fashion an opportunity. What about that for a tackle?
Brilliant defending. That is exactly what you need from your defence in the dying phases, the bravery, body positioning, and ultimately the commitment to just absolutely throw yourself and deny a player like Kim Little a sniff on target.
Well, Steph Catley will deliver this one. In swinging from that far side of the pitch. Plenty of players in there in Arsenal shirts. Held on towards the far post. Raffaelli, it was. A player who's been so dominant from set pieces over the course of the evening. Came to her weaker right foot. She was able to hit the target.
Oh, that was the headline I was so desperate for, but not the foot that I wanted it to land on.
So it was slightly ambitious, you asking for a centre-back to be the match winner, but she certainly had the opportunity there. Final 2 minutes now of the 6 added on. Is there enough time for Arsenal to get this one into the Ajax box once more? Miedema in hot pursuit of Van der Most on this near side.
Van der Moss has been great this evening as well.
Another experienced player, Van der Moss.
Just really immaculate, clean, tidy defending against a player of the quality of Miedema. They've really got about their business. They've conceded the 2 goals, but they haven't been in open play. And or perhaps we'll get one last opportunity.
Well, it was Caitlin Ford who somehow brought down that long ball. Again, though, joined by Cardinal. He's putting the pressure on. And then hooks it clear again. What a game she's had. Before eventually going down with some sort of cramp. 60 seconds on the clock. I think Caitlin Ford's asking the question, look, if she is going to be treated on the pitch, can we add that time on as well? Arsenal do have a throw-in.
I think you'd be cramping up if you were the Ajax defence after this.
Be cramping up if I was Cardinal, that's for sure. She's been everywhere. There have been times as well where she's surged forward on the wings.
The way they've defended that 6-yard box has been really impressive.
Catley immediately closed down by Nordam.
Oh dear.
You see there, McCabe trying to urge Ajax to get this one back into play quickly, but they're happy to settle for the 2-2 draw and then decide this one on home turf next week. Still though, Arsenal continue to press. Miedema turning away on the edge of the area, crowded out once more by Ajax players. Williamson driving it forward with a bit more impetus. Ajax first at all of the second balls at the moment. Getting the benefit of the doubt as well through Ashley Bakker. Sharida Spitzer using her experience here just to run the clock down before it is pumped into the channel. One for Williamson to chase. Defends it very competently. Well, Arsenal dominated at times this evening. They turned the tie on its head after going an early goal behind. They had the opportunities to put the game out of Ajax's reach, but they allowed them to carve out that final chance. And Ajax, in their usual clinical fashion, obliged. They took it to level the scores and to take this tie into the second leg with all to play for in Amsterdam. Didn't really click for Arsenal as well as you'd have expected it to in the Champions League qualifier, but let's not underplay the role that Ajax put in tonight. An incredible shift, most notably there, number 26, Issa Cardinal, the 17-year-old defender. You can tell just how much that performance has taken out of her. For Arsenal, it's an opportunity to reflect, to learn from those mistakes and to try to build some momentum